Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Oxnard City Council Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting for June 9th, 2020 at whatever the time is right now. I don't see it in front of me.
11:02.
11:02. We'll have roll call, question of posting the agenda, and a flag salute. We'll have a moment of silence for all victims of violence, past and present.
Member Flynn.
Present.
Member McDonald.
Here.
Chair Perrello.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum, and the agenda for this meeting was posted in the City Hall kiosk on Thursday, June 4th.
Okay. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
to the
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for all victims. Okay, thank you. I've been told we have one public speaker, P.W. Robinson. That is still correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I'll get him on the line right now.
Okay, thank you. And gentlemen, later in the meeting on D1 and D2, I need to recuse myself from those items. I live too close to one of the items and I live in the district of the second. You got a good looking dog there, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mr. Robinson. It's Michelle at the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting.
Oh, hi.
Hi. You've got 2 minutes to speak on items not on the agenda. Please go ahead.
Oh, boy. I think I misread. Isn't there a city council meeting today?
No, we're just doing committees today.
I'm very sorry to waste your time. I apologize. I misread the thing and signed up for something that I wasn't prepared for the topic. I apologize.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
So sorry.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and I see no other requests for speaking.
Nope, that was it.
Okay, so we move to the consent agenda, approval of the minutes. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee approve the minutes of May 26th, the regular meeting as presented. Are there any corrections, additions, or anything from the fellow members?
No, I move approval.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Flynn.
Aye.
Member McDonald.
Aye.
Chair Perrello.
Yes.
The motion to approve carries 3-0.
Okay, we're moving to reports D1 and D2. I need to recuse myself on D1. My home is too close to a former landfill and it causes questions, so I will not be participating. And D2, I live in one of the landscape maintenance districts, LMD number 13. So I will be removing myself from this part of the meeting. And I leave it to my fellow committee members to decide who's going to call shots. So thank you very much.
Mayor, you can run it.
Okay. And this is item 1 under reports, and that is the subject, or Public Works Department, and the subject is to approve the Fifth Amendment to the agreement 7167-15-CM with Ventura Regional Sanitation District. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute a Fifth Amendment to Agreement 7167-15-CM with Ventura Regional Sanitation District, VRSD, in the amount of $97,960 for a total not to exceed the amount of $618,743.91 to extend the term from June 30th, 2020 to June 30th, 2021 for monitoring and reporting of the closed Santa Clara landfill.
Good morning, committee members. Brian Yanas, Assistant Public Works Director. Thank you for reading the recommendation. Moving forward, the Ventura Regional Sanitation District, which is VRSD, has managed the Santa Clara landfill since the closure and building of the city's River Ridge Golf Course. May 2002, Council approved a lease with VRSD for 2 parcels of real property, approximately 26 acres, including landfill parcel for constructing and maintaining golf course facilities. From 2002 to 2015, VRSD has provided regulatory testing and reporting services to monitor areas' groundwater and gas emissions affected by presence of decomposing refuse below surface. June 8, 2015, the city and VRSD entered into a new agreement for VRSD to continue to provide these services at the golf course and landfill facilities. Background is these amendments have been going on since 2016, and recently up to June 30th, 2020, this year, this 4th Amendment will expire. So we're here asking for approval of the 5th Amendment, which is approximately $98,000 for fiscal year 2021. Again, current VRSD agreement expires the end of this June. We're asking for a renewal of this 5th Amendment, increasing the contract value and extending the term to June 30th of 2021. The services provided by VRSD are critical for our regulatory mandates that are at the golf course and the landfill to meet local, state, and federal air, ground, and groundwater quality mandates. The cost of this amendment, again, is approximately $98,000, increasing the contract value to approximately $619,000. Funding has been requested in 2021 budget for the Golf Course Operation Fund 651. I'm here to answer any questions.
Committee Member McDonald?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, I presume you want me to ask questions. I didn't hear you, but
Yeah. Yeah, do you have any?
yeah, just one question. It looks like we've been doing this every year for the last 5 or 10 years or so. How come we haven't looked at maybe doing a 5-year package with 1-year, ability to renew automatically for 1-year options up to 5 years? Is there any reason?
Committee Member McDonald, I have not looked into that, but we can look into a multiple year contract with VRSD. We've been doing it annually on an annual basis, and it helps us with our budgeting each year. And obviously you've seen these numbers change. For example, this year the 5th Amendment is a little less than the 4th Amendment, and that's due to the staff assigned. This year we have a engineer tech rather than a senior engineer tech. That's the cause of the reduction there. So we definitely can look at a multiple year term for fiscal year 21-22.
Yeah, maybe we can build in the option to adjust, by 10% or something, but it just seems like we use a lot of staff time every year to do this. It would be probably more efficient for staff use if we could do a 5-year package with 1-year increments or whatever. Just something to that effect.
Councilmember, this is the city manager. I'll chime in very quickly. I'll be happy to also engage with the district's executive director or general manager to discuss this. But in my past experience working with landfills, they tend to want to keep it year to year because their costs can swing so drastically from year to year. But,
okay.
But we're happy to explore it, and I like your suggestion of we can build in a fixed adjustment range that would still have to be approved, but that might give both parties some comfort for, a little bit longer term planning. So I like the recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, sir. I'm good, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that I can be heard, Mr. City Manager or City Clerk. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, good. My only questions are maybe along the lines of the fact that we've done a lot to try to cut costs in environmental resources, and one of the large components of the overall budget of environmental resources are landfill costs. And I think it would be very helpful because Councilman or Committee Member and Chair Perillo is on the Ventura Regional Sanitation District Board. I think it would be very helpful at some point for Public Works to hear about possibilities of some of the ideas that when I was on the board were like to save money were like harvesting of trash and a whole variety of other things, methane extraction, a variety of methods that could begin to save costs at landfills. And I'm wondering whether we could have a presentation of that nature, because it seems, just at least from my perspective as a member of this committee and having dealt with these landfill contracts in the past, that it's kind of like a pass-through with water. We just these are the landfills. We have 2 landfills that we where we dump our trash or take our trash to. But when it comes to the overall cost of running those landfills, it seems, of course, we have very little control over that. And so it would be good for me, at least, and I think the committee, to understand further, given the limitations of landfills, that the state is asking for more and more, for less to go into landfills, what we can expect in the future.
Mr. Mayor, so in that spirit, Councilmember McDonald has asked us to bring a report, which is coming, I believe, at the end of this month, at the next committee meeting, specific to, 2 things. One is specific to organic waste, given that that's what the most recent mandate is, that we are still searching for a local, if not a regional solution, as well as other co-located facilities near the MRF where we have the property, to see what the options are. So again, in that vein, that a significant chunk of that is coming to this committee this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Very well. Madam City Clerk, are there any speaker cards in this item?
No.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the committee?
I move the recommended action.
And I'll second.
Member McDonald?
Yes.
Member Flynn?
Aye.
The motion carries 2-0 with 1 recusal.
Okay, now the chair will be back, I believe.
No, I think he's recusing from this one too.
Oh, he is. Okay. Let me make sure I have my. Okay. Item number 2, Public Works Department, subject, Second Amendment to Agreement A-7971 with Garcia's Landscape Maintenance Incorporated for landscape maintenance services to various districts. Recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute a Second Amendment to Agreement A-7971 in the amount of $343,720 for a total not to exceed the amount of $1,252,720 for landscape maintenance services in various districts, and to extend the term from June 30th, 2020 to December 31st, 2020.
Thank you, Mayor, Council Member McDonald, Jerry Cooper, Project Manager for Special Assessment Districts. As you know, Special Districts deals with more than 40 plus special assessment districts throughout the city of Oxnard. You will see that we have included a map that depicts exactly where these assessment districts are, and you can see on our website full access to those assessment districts. Any residents who want to know if they are located within an assessment district can put in their address and pull up their specific assessment district. For today's amendment request, the background on that includes a bid process that went out April 7th, 2017, and we came to council on May 23rd, 2017 to award 2 contracts, one to Garcia's Landscape Maintenance and Coneco Landscape Services. In December 2017, unfortunately, Mr. Coneco passed away and the business was dissolved. So we came to council later that month to award the remaining landscape maintenance districts to Garcia's Landscaping for the first amendment to this contract. Currently, the Garcia's contract is set to expire on June 30th, 2020. We will be releasing a new request for bid in July of 2020 to ensure that we are getting the best prices possible for the Landscape Maintenance District. But until then, we do need to extend the Garcia's landscape maintenance contract effective through the end of the year so that we can continue the services provided to those landscape maintenance districts. Staff will return in the fall for approval of a bid and contract to be effective January 1st, 2021. The total increase for this contract is $343,720 for the months of July through December, and there are sufficient funds that have been budgeted in the respective landscape maintenance district and the maintenance assessment district to fund these services for the fiscal year 2021. Any questions?
Committee Member McDonald. And my questions aren't relevant to or related as much to this contract. I probably have larger questions about landscape maintenance districts, but that's something we could take up later. So I have no questions on this item, and I'll just ask the city clerk if there are any speaker cards.
No, there aren't.
Move the
Okay.
recommended action.
Second.
Member Flynn.
Aye.
Member McDonald.
Aye.
The motion carries 2-0 with one recusal. Thank you.
Okay, now we have item 3, and that was the one where Committee Chair Perrella was coming back. Is that correct, Madam City Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chair.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And thank you both for conducting the meeting. Thank you. Item number 3, the subject, Second Amendment to Agreement A-7985 for professional security consultants, with professional security consultants. Can we have the staff read the recommendation, please?
Yes, good morning, committee members. Todd Housley, Environmental Resources Division Manager. We're requesting that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council authorize the mayor to execute a Second Amendment to Agreement A-7985 with professional security consultants in the amount of $335,000 for a total amount not to exceed $935,000, and to extend the term to June 30th, 2021 for security patrol services at the Del Norte Regional Recycling and Transfer Station and the Oxnard Wastewater Treatment Plant and the Advanced Water Purification Facility. In 2017, Professional Security Consultants was a successful bidder and was hired to provide security patrol services at Del Norte. In 2018, Security Patrol Services expanded that to the Oxnard Wastewater Treatment Plant and the Advanced Water Purification Facility. The Second Amendment includes the following provisions: entry point control and monitoring, foot patrols through the Del Norte Wastewater Treatment Plant and AWPF facilities, monitoring of video surveillance footage, preparation of daily reports, and reporting of incidents to Oxnard Police, Fire, or associated Public Works Department representatives. We hope to observe less break-ins and thefts at Del Norte and these other facilities. Del Norte Wastewater Treatment Plant and AWPF facilities are in the process of implementing security upgrades, which will include fencing and security cameras. This agreement with PSC will extend the contract for another fiscal year, and if needed, staff will return to this body and the council to approve a new contract for the following fiscal year. On the screen currently is the financial impact. Funding has been requested, fiscal year 2021 budget in the following divisions: Environmental Resources for $160,000, Wastewater Treatment Plant for $100,000, Advanced Water Purification Facility Fund will be $75,000 for a total of the $335,000. That's the end of my presentation. I can answer any questions.
Number 1, do we have any speaker cards on this, Madam Clerk?
No, we don't.
Okay. Committee members, do you have questions?
I just have a comment.
Okay.
I certainly support this, especially in the more remote facilities that we have, specifically the wastewater treatment plant. I've heard stories over the years of some of our staff that are down there at odd hours being surprised by people in the facility that shouldn't be there. I think it's incumbent upon us to try and provide the safest workplace possible. So this is one of those elements that does that for our employees to give them some peace of mind. So I will support this.
Mayor Flynn?
No questions.
Okay, I have several questions. I totally agree with Councilman McDonald. With respect to this in the recommendation, it mentioned that there had been, I mean, the reason we have these, there had been break-ins and stuff. Have the break-ins gone down since we have this security firm?
That's your first question. I'll go ahead and answer them as they come then, Councilmember Perillo.
Okay.
We notice that when security is there, we do have a reduction in the attempts, not an elimination, but we hear about them quicker, police hears about them quicker. And as far as Del Norte is concerned, it's very instrumental in helping us prevent fires from spreading and taking out the entire facility.
And that was going to be one of my questions, and that's good. That's very good to hear. With respect to this security, how do, and I only ask this because years ago I did have a concern with the water plant at 3rd Street, over the 3rd Street Bridge. How does the security work? Is there a clocking that they have to make rounds to verify they're making these rounds, or is that something we don't talk about because of the process?
Councilmember Perillo, because I stood here in 2017 with the first contract and understood this was a concern of yours, I brought, hope you can see it, this is a log that we require this contractor to fill out daily, and we keep records of it so that we're keeping them on point and following the contract. So we receive these in the morning after every shift, and it has all of the contact information necessary for the employees that need to be contacted should anything happen while we're not on site.
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I can't see it, but I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate you being prepared with that. For those watching, I had not talked to Mr. Housley that I was going to ask that question. Good job, heads up. With the this item and identifying the security at these sites, what is the firm that does the security on the 3rd Street Bridge water plant? And the reason I ask that question is I have on occasion been to the train station, and when I'm at the train station and you're out where people board the train, I notice that the fence on the other side of the tracks looks to be easily just hopped over. Is there any security similar to this site?
I'll answer that to the depth that I have knowledge of the water treatment plant. I know that there is a plan in place to increase the fencing, which would increase the security of the fencing and the height of the fencing. They are working on other security issues like video, but I don't think that there is currently a security firm on site. I'm going to defer to Tien to see if he has that answer.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. This is Tien. Mr. Chair, currently, the water division at blending station number 1, the water campus, no, we don't have an active security. There's two things. One is they're installing new cameras, and there's increasing police patrol near the neighborhood.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that information. I'm sure our city manager has heard that because that is a concern. That is a concern of me. I want to compliment whoever is catching these fires that have happened at the landfill, at the MRF, as the department director addressed, catching them in times to prevent major serious problems. I support this. Were there any cards on this, Madam Clerk? I think I forgot to ask. Madam Clerk, are there any speaker cards on this item?
No, there aren't.
Okay. Do we have a recommendation from the committee?
Move the recommended action.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Member Flynn,
Aye.
Member McDonald,
Yes.
Chair Perillo.
Yes.
The motion
Thank
to
you.
approve carries 3-0.
Moving on to item 4. Item 4 is purchase order with Bamco Pipe and Supply for infrastructure parts and supplies. And if we can have the staff read the recommendation, please.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chair, committee members. My name is Tian. I'm Assistant Public Works Director. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute a purchase order with FAMCON Pipe and Supply, Inc. for infrastructure parts and supply in the amount of $210,000 for 1-year term with the options of 2 additional 1-year terms for a total amount not to exceed $630,000. As you all know, the city water division, it has about 504 miles of water pipes, most of them under the ground, and about 5,800 fire hydrants. So that means we have a huge asset to manage. So with huge asset, we got to have some supplies for preemptive maintenance for just regular repair, such as pipes, valve box, meter box. But we can't, usually don't want to have a giant warehouse to have all the supply, but we would like to have resources, especially local parts company that we can have access to. If we need them, we can quickly get it from them. And that helps us to not to have a lot of uninterrupted water supply. So on January 17th this year, the city Public Works Department issued a request for bid on subject matter, and then it closes February 10th of this year. Surprisingly, nobody responded to our request. So we do it again on March 5th of this year and closes March 19th. And we have one bid, FAMCON Pipe and Supply, and they're locally here in Oxnard. So what staff recommended, since there's only one bidder on this, is that we recommended awarding this contract, and then at the end of 1 year to see if there's any interest from other competitors. If there are at that time next year, we're going to issue a request for bid again. So as you know, FAMCON, city done business with them. They're located in Oxnard. I believe it's along Vineyard and Lambert Streets. For the previous contract, the FAMCON staff was pretty accommodating, especially during special requests like off-hours weekend, when we have a hydrant hit and we need to have access for a certain material. We were able to get a hold of them and get the parts. So for financial impact, again, the total contract value is $630,000, and for next year, we'll request $210,000 for a fiscal year, and then subsequently $210,000 for the subsequent 2 years. So that concludes my presentation. I'm available to answer any questions.
Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers on this item?
No.
No. Okay. Committee members, do we have questions?
I have none.
Okay.
I have none.
Okay. Mr. Ng, thank you very much for the presentation. In reading the staff report, you did mention it, but I need to comment on this, and I feel very strongly about this. I've been one person that has pushed for multiple bids, and if we don't get multiple bids, they go out and get multiple bids. I have yet, and I would be told, I believe, by my city manager, if any check for payment of supplies or services that the city of Oxnard has deemed has not been paid. I do not understand why no firms bid on this the first time around. It states that there was a revised request for bids the second time. I don't know what that is. If somebody could inform me, I would appreciate it. But it is embarrassing when we don't have multiple bids, when our money is as good as anybody in this county, the largest city in this county, and people have no problem coming and doing business with the residents in Oxnard, and Oxnard pays its bills. I want to
Miss,
thank FAMCO. I want to thank FAMCO for bidding, but in the future, this does not speak highly for the business community, because there are people that are hungry for work, hungry for jobs, employees looking to keep their jobs, and an aggressive bidding practice is a good thing for the community, the residents, taxpayers, and the business sector. So if there could be a little explanation about what was revised on the request for bid as identified under discussion on page 522 of the report.
Mr. Chair, I wouldn't use this as an example of lack of responses. If you just look at the timing on slide number 4, that when we close the first bid, I think the country is starting to notice that COVID-19 could be an issue. Then if you look at the publication of the second bid and the closing of the second bid, this is where the country is making a decision how to shut business down. So it could be that people were busy of where was my future next rather than submitting bid. So I think this is an isolated case, and hopefully, we will get competitors throughout the year to say, oh, we missed this. Are you going to give us an opportunity next year? And then we'll float it out next year.
Okay, I appreciate. On the second bullet point on that slide, it says revised RFB. What was revised? Was just the simply dates of the bid open and
Yeah,
closing?
because we didn't change anything. We just say, okay, nobody responded. We floated it out again.
Thank you very much. That puts my mind to rest. I was wondering what happened. Again, thank you for the presentation. Do we have a recommendation from the committee?
Move the recommended action.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please. Madam Clerk?
Member Flynn,
Aye.
Member McDonald,
Yes.
and Chair Perrello.
Yes.
The motion carries 3-0.
Okay, moving on to items for future agendas. Do we have any members with items for future agendas or comments?
Mr. Chair, just the item that I brought forward on on the landfills. I just feel, I think it's important from time to time that we try to get ahead of, to the greatest extent possible, the future of landfills, which I think has a lot to do with the future of environmental resources.
Okay. Mr. McDonald?
I have nothing.
I have one request for an item, and I have one comment. Throughout the city of Oxnard, there are fire hydrants in some areas where they're painted red and some where they're not. And I know this may touch on other committees, but I'd like to get a report. What would be involved if the city purchased red paint and we mobilize neighborhood councils to paint the curb in front of a fire hydrant, the legal amount of distance red, so that we could enforce these rules, not to make money, but to send a message that it matters in Oxnard, the rules, and there will be no misunderstanding of where you can park by a fire hydrant or not. And as a sidelight, it would be a cost recovery of the cost of the paint. That is one thing I'd like to see in a future agenda item. And I'd like to make a comment. My understanding that this is possibly one of the last meetings for Assistant City Attorney Tara Mazzanotti. And I'm still not pronouncing the name correctly, and I apologize for that. I want to share with my committee members my experience with Ms. Mazzanotti. I've seen her at work in various areas where I attend. One is the Ventura Regional Sanitation District. The other is the Fox Canyon Groundwater Management Agency. She's been very impressive in her work. But one particular instance comes to mind, and I don't think I'll ever forget. Ms. Mazzanotti, along with members of the Public Works, was at a board meeting, and I would say it was a less than friendly environment. And she asked some questions, and she was challenged strongly by another attorney. And sitting in that meeting, I was kind of flabbergasted how severe the challenge was in my mind. And I was even more flabbergasted that Miss Mazzanotti kept her cool, composure. She stayed firmly on point, and she got what she was asking for. A fantastic example of a velvet glove surrounding a steel fist. And I'm a compliment to my city attorney's office for hiring that kind of individual, and a compliment to Ms. Mazzanotti looking out for the residents in the city. And I wish her the very best in whatever future endeavor she takes, because, ladies and gentlemen, the electeds don't often get to see that, and I was very fortunate to see that. And I am sure, along with other members of the city staff that were in that meeting, were impressed. And again, Ms. Mazzanotti, Mazzanti, the very best in the future. Any final comments from the general manager or the city attorney's office?
Yes, this is the city manager, not the general manager.
Yeah, I beg your pardon.
So thank you for your nice comments. I understand she's leaving because none of us can pronounce her name, but she's about to speak.
I apologize. That's a good one, Alex. Well,
If you'd like to be a general manager, we can make you one.
Touche, touche, touche. Now she's going to speak.
Yes. Thank you so much, Councilmember Perillo. This is Tara, and I really appreciate your kind words, and I will never forget that meeting, that's for sure. But it has been an absolute pleasure to work in this city, and in particular, the Public Works Department, which has been my assignment. All employees have been professional, so competent, and kind, and it has been an absolute pleasure to work with this group. And the same goes for the city manager's office. Alex, thank you. And Michelle, you've always been so helpful. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, the council members. I'm moving up to Northern California, going back up there for family reasons, but it has been a pleasure working for this city, and I will remain in touch.
the very best wishes. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I wasn't aware that Tara was moving on, but I want to congratulate her on the great work that she's done on behalf of the city of Oxnard and the people of the city of Oxnard. Arguably, the public works experience that she brought to the city, we have all benefited. And I know that Ms. Klima, who's now the deputy assistant city manager, also brought a lot of expertise. But you'll be missed, Tara. We wish you the very best. We understand that sometimes life takes us in different directions, and it all works out in the end. So congratulations, and we'll miss you, and we hope you never completely disappear from the city of Oxnard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any further comments? And if not, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, staff, for the presentations and the work you did today. Thank you.